Before I read through the problem, I want to read what the questions are asking us to do so we kind of have that in mind as we're reading through the problem. Question 7 says to write the objective function, and it defines our variables for us. It tells us that x is going to represent the number of scientific calculators, and y is going to represent the number of graphing calculators. So we know that going in, and we're trying to write our objective function. And then number 8 is asking us to write the inequalities or the constraints. So let's go back to the problem. I want to look at what the objective of the problem is. And in order to do that, what I like to do first is look at the last sentence. So if I look at the last sentence, it says, how many of each type of calculator should you manufacture in order to maximize your profit? So these last three words, maximize your profit, that is the objective of our problem. That is what we are trying to do. So now what I'm going to do is kind of look backwards, and I want to see if I can find numbers that go along with profit. So I'm going to look to the second, I'm going to look to the second sentence. It says the scientific calculators cost $4 and have a profit of 6. So that profit of 6 is what I'm looking for. And then the graphing calculators cost $10 and have a profit of $16 each. So those are the two numbers that I want to use. Since I'm trying to maximize profit, I like to use P for profit. And the two letters we're using are X and Y. And what I'm going to do now is take the amount of profit that each calculator will yield, and I'm going to multiply it by that variable. So scientific calculators have a profit of $6, and we are using X as our variable for that. And then graphing calculators will have a profit of $6, and our variable for those are Y. So that's it for number 7. Now for number 8, this, in my opinion, is the hardest part. There are two inequalities that are never going to be written in the problem, but you just have to know that they exist. And the two inequalities I'm talking about are that x and y are both greater than or equal to 0. And the reason that those are important is because we're talking about like real physical objects. We're talking about calculators. You can have 0 calculators, but you can never have a negative calculator. So we have to make sure that we limit both of our variables to show that they can be 0 or they can be a positive number. All right, so now that that's over with, let's look at our, let's go back to that second sentence where it talked about how much scientific calculators cost. So it says scientific calculators cost $4. And then the next sentence said that graphing calculators cost $10. So I have two numbers associated with cost. And then the next sentence says that you want to spend no more than $550 on cost. So I have two numbers that are associated with each of my calculator costs, and then I have a total number, which is the 550. So I know that I'm going to take each of those costs and multiply them by the variables that they are associated with, and then I have a total of 550. And it says that I want no more than 550. So no more than is a little bit misleading because you see the word more in there, but if I don't want to spend more than 550, it means I actually am okay spending less than or equal to 550. So it's okay if you spend 550, but it's either that or less. All right, now the last thing we need to talk about is the only sentence we haven't really looked at, which is this one that says, to satisfy a shipping contract, a total of at least 200 calculators must be shipped. Now this one, it seems a little bit tricky because, you know, with the cost inequality, we had the three numbers. And in this one, we only have the 200, which is a total. And it tells you that right here. So I know 200 is going to be the total. And the numbers that are going to go with my variables are just ones. If I take the number of scientific calculators and I add the number of graphing calculators, that's going to give me my total number of calculators. And it's saying that we have to do at least 200. So again, it's a little misleading because you see the word least. But if you want to make at least 200 of something, that means 200 or more. So these are the four inequalities which represent the constraints for this problem.